How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Old School Community live stream. And this week we got something a little different to what we usually do. So, of course, the Raids developer blog went up earlier this week, and we've had a lot of feedback on it. Most of you guys will have seen that, I imagine. And essentially, the biggest point of feedback that we've received is we want more. So we had the Elder Maul in there, we had the Elder Wand in there, we had Kodai robes in there, we had Dragon Plate Body, and we also had the Dragon Throne Axes and Dragon Sword, and of course the Forgotten Prayers. So we had quite a lot in there, but of course, let me switch over here. So I'm bringing some real pristine production quality to this stream, guys. Check this out. We're ready. Are you guys ready for the PowerPoint? Oh. Ooh, okay. So, we had a meeting today, and we decided that it was worth offering some pretty substantial additional rewards on top of what we're already going to be offering. So, of course, we've already got the rewards that I just mentioned, and now we're also going to have a few more. So, before we get into that, got a few things that I want to go over. Oh, production quality. Okay. So, why do we need more rewards? Really simple. Raids is going to be big. And when we say big, we mean big. Your average raid, or we're aiming, we always have to say we're aiming because you guys always outdo our expectations. We're aiming for an average raid to take over an hour. It's going to be a really, really big piece of content. And we need to make raids worth your time. We don't want people to see raids and think, wow, that takes ages. What do I get out of it? Not much. Can't be bothered. Because it's going to be a really massive piece of content. We want you guys to have a valid reason to go and do it. And, of course, as I mentioned before, you guys, the community, you've asked for bigger and better rewards following the dev blogs. So, we've got a few extra rewards to offer here. So, before we get into the rewards themselves, let's go over a quick explanation of how rewards are going to work within raids, because this isn't actually something that we've addressed previously. You guys don't have a whole lot of information on raids. That information will be coming, in fact, at RuneFest, which is in almost exactly a month's time. There's going to be something there for raids. I'm not going to say exactly what because I'm not 100% sure. But there is going to be much more information coming your way about the specifics of how raids is going to work in the next month or two. Raids is going to be coming around November, by the way, guys, if you weren't aware. So, how will the rewards work? You're going to be rewarded for your individual contribution. So you're going to have this massive dungeon to take on and a big boss to kill at the end. And depending on how much you contribute to the success of your team, you're going to be rewarded less or more. And you can contribute in a number of ways. So you can deal damage, you can just straight up kill stuff, which is what a lot of PVMers enjoy, of course. You can also heal your team and cure them of poison. You can also complete the various challenges that you'll encounter along the way. And of course, there'll be some opportunities for you to skill a little bit as well, which is always nice. And of course, if you are really, really good, your team are performing incredibly well, there's an opportunity for your entire team to get a bonus to the reward you receive, depending on the speed at which you complete the dungeon. On top of that, a lot of the stuff that has been somewhat controversial about the blog so far is that we've got things in there like the Dragon Throne Axes and the Dragon Sword, and even the prayers to a certain extent, and people are thinking, hang on, raids are supposed to be this massive, incredibly difficult piece of PVM content. Why are we getting these sort of mid-tier rewards from it? And the reason for that is that there's actually going to be a fair amount of variety within raids. So raids isn't going to be just one monster. It's not going to be just a few monsters. There's going to be tons on your way through this dungeon. So you're going to have... I almost said something I shouldn't have then. I almost gave you guys a bit of a spoiler. Sucks for you guys, but hey, thank goodness I caught myself. So, yeah, there's going to be monsters throughout that will have... you'll be able to get your Dragon Sword, your Dragon Throne Axes, the Prayer Unlock Scrolls, some of the smaller things that we've been mentioning, the more mid-tier stuff, can come from monsters throughout the raid. And you'll find that all of the rewards that you receive will be given to you at the end. So once your individual contribution is decided, and once you're, like, as you kill the monsters going through, you might be credited with a dragon sword drop, but you'll receive that at the end of the raid once you complete it. And yeah, every member of the team who completes the raid will receive a reward. There's also going to be like a standard drop table, of course, so you won't only get the big items, you will get some smaller stuff thrown in there, your everyday drop table kind of stuff. The big loots are the ones that we really want to pull people into the content, though, of course. And what more are we going to offer? So, and I want to preface this by saying, of course, we are 100% open to feedback on this, as we've proven with 3 dev blogs for raid rewards. If you guys have feedback, let us know. As always, these things are subject to change depending on the response from the community and what you guys think of it. So let us know. Now, let's get into it. So, the big things. 2 additional sets of tier 75 equipment, as well as improved Kodai robes. Essentially, we're going to be scrapping Kodai robes and offering something different. They're different in essentially every way, so I think it's a touch misleading to say they are Kodai robes, but hey, we can get into that in a little bit. So, Elder Armor. We've seen the Elder Maul and the Elder Wand. The Elder Armor is level 75 defense armor, and it will be degradable, not quite, degradable, and you'll be able to repair it with coins. So it won't be totally free to use. So these are the stats for the helmet. Now I want to point out a few things here. So of course you've got the accuracy stats, which currently I believe the only helmet in game which actually provides melee accuracy bonuses is the fighter hat. So this is going to be a nice little addition there. And on top of that, you've got some really impressive defense bonuses. They are superior to, I think, every helmet in the game. So that's better than Barrow's, better than the Serpentine helm. And then on the other bonuses, you have 5 strength bonus and 2 prayer bonus. So the strength bonus only matches the Serpentine helm, but you do have a little bit of prayer there. Of course, the Serpentine helm also offers the immunity to poison and the immunity to venom, and also the effect of envenoming anything that attacks you. So it's already a very strong helm. We've given this a few stats that will make it valuable alongside the Serpentine helm, but realistically we didn't want to push it too much past the Serp helm because it's already a really, really strong helmet. So what else have we got here? Next up we got the body, which again, pretty beefy. You've got the small accuracy bonuses there, and on top of that you've got defense bonuses that are superior to Barrow's. And of course, in the other bonuses, you've got +6 strength, which is also better than BCP, I believe, by +2 strength bonus, and it is +2 prayer. And further to that, we have the plate legs, which is, again, similar throughout all these kits. You'll see that they all follow a similar trend. Small accuracy bonuses, very good defense bonuses, with a bit of strength and a bit of prayer. A lot of people in the chat saying, whoa, oh my god, panic sell everything. And while yes, these will probably have some impact on items like the BCP, one thing to consider is that even when armor like Torva was introduced into RS3, there were still loads of people using things like the Tassets and the BCP, because while they are in the same vein, they're also on completely different tiers. This is tier 75, it's 10 levels above BCP and Tassets, and it's degradable, so there will be a cost associated with using it, and it's going to be incredibly expensive. We're aiming for these kits to cost you hundreds of mil. These are going to be the best armor in the game, so they need to have a hefty price tag associated with them. Our goal with this kit in particular was to make it so it's valuable for your really, really high level PVMers who are using melee at bosses. So you've got the incredible stats there, and the payoff that they're getting will justify the cost of using it. But if you're going about your everyday Slayer task, you're not going to want to use this armor because it's just a small additional cost that isn't really necessary, and you're probably not going to get your money's worth for. So that's what we've got there for the Elder armor. And of course, guys, remember that this is for raids. This is probably the biggest PVM update that we have ever done to Old School RuneScape. It's going to be absolutely massive. And we need stuff that is going to justify you spending the time at raids. It's not going to be an easy thing to go and get this armor. It's going to cost you your bank if you want to buy it. It's going to take you forever if you don't want to buy it. It's going to be very rare, and it's going to be the goal with this is to make it rewarding for the people taking part in that PVM content. So what else we got? Next up we have Twisted Armor. So Twisted Armor is level 75 range and defense armor. It's again degradable and can be repaired with coins. And the thing that sets this apart is that it uses range strength bonus. So this isn't something that many pieces of equipment use. I believe ammo has range strength, bows and range armor do not. I think the Zenite necklace, forgive me, I can't remember the name of the thing, that also gives, I think, 5 range strength bonus. I think that's the only non-ammo item in the game that might do that. Correct me if I'm wrong. So here we have the helmet. These stats are very much comparable to Armadillo. They're slightly, in fact, I believe that these are very barely better than Armadillo. And the main benefit to this is, of course, the 1 range strength bonus, which is tiny. It's a very small bonus, but it does also have a little bit more on the defensive side for magic. So it is going to find its use. And then what else do we have? We've got the body here. So same story. Similar defensive, similar stats to Armadillo. Slightly better in a couple of places. And then, of course, you've got the +2 range strength, which is, again, very valuable. And, of course, the +2 prayer as well, compared to the +1 that I believe all Armadillo pieces offer. And then, similar story yet again with the legs here. Slightly better than Armadillo, with the range strength and the prayer. So, all in all, this is a fairly tame set. It is better than Armadillo in a number of ways, and that range strength bonus is something that we've never gone near before. So it will definitely have its value. It is definitely the top tier armor in the game for range. But again, there is that cost associated with using it. So there will be places where it's worth it and places where it isn't. Armor will still have its value. Okay, next up, and this is actually the last of the additions. So, improved Kodai robes. Should probably have edited this to say something entirely different, because they are very much different to Kodai robes. So, compared to the Kodai robes, they have improved defense and magic stats, and you require level 75 in both of those skills in order to use it. We've reduced the prayer bonuses that Kodai robes give, and again, degradable and repaired using coins. So, here we have the hood. I assume it's going to be a hood at least. And it has some pretty fantastic magic bonuses with some okay defense bonuses, pretty standard, very close to what Aram's offers, I believe, very barely better. And then, of course, the small prayer bonus as well. But yeah, it is quite substantially better in terms of magic attack and magic, and minimally better in magic defense compared to Aram's. And it is also better than Third Age Mage Hat and the like. And then we've got the body here, which, again, quite a chunk better than Aram's. +8 on the attack compared to the Aram's robe top, and +5 in defense. And then again with the small prayer bonus and the decent melee defenses. And then here we go with the legs. Same story yet again. Better in magic attack and defense, decent melee defenses, and the +2 prayer. So that is essentially all we've got in terms of new content on offer. However, as the chat has made very clear, these are some pretty big pieces of content that we're offering here. Like, these aren't small rewards. They're a tier above, as the feedback suggested they should be if they're coming from raids. So the reason that we've gone quite big on, in particular the Outer Armor, is that we need this piece of content to really... it needs to be worth it for the people participating. It's going to be one of the hardest PVM challenges in the game. And when we say that, it's not going to be an overstatement. It's going to be a huge piece of group content, and we want it to have longevity, and we want people to want to spend their time there. If you're willing to take on the challenge, then of course you should be rewarded for doing so. And this is our take on the feedback that we've received so far. Of course, as I said at the start of the stream, if you have more feedback for us, let us know. If you think there's a tweak here or there that we can make to this, do not hesitate to tell us, because as we've shown you guys over the past few weeks with the previous devlogs, we are listening and we do want to make this bang on right for the release of raids. Now, we're only about 20 minutes into the hour. Generally, if I finish a piece, like a big segment like this, I would end the stream, but we're only 20 minutes in, so in fact I'm going to ask you guys, if you have any questions or any things, points of discussion regarding raids or the Outer Armor, please tweet them to me at JagXRonan, and we can have a bit of a discussion, and if you guys have any immediate feedback, hopefully I can answer some of your questions. I'm going to leave this on the screen for now, just because I feel like it's something that we've not really gone over too much. Let's see if we've got any tweets coming in already. Short Dude says, people aren't going to use it for Slayer because of the degrade costs, and then says, essentially saying, are you suggesting that no one uses Barrows, or no one would use it because of that? And the cost is going to be much higher than Barrows. We don't actually have a number for the cost at this point, but the goal would essentially be to limit its usefulness outside of those very rewarding PVM scenarios. We're not going to try and make it useless by any sense. If someone wants to use it, it should still be better. But it should also... We want to leave room for things like Bandos, the Bandos armor and the Armadillo kit, and all those things. Where will this be located? Raids will be a part of Zaya. It'll be a small little extension there. In fact, it's going to be quite a sizable extension given the magnitude of the content. Plus 12 mage for a hood is way too much. Nerf. If you have... we're going to get lots of people saying this small thing here is too big, this thing here is too big. If you guys want to send that feedback in, let us know, and we can see which are the like most common points of contention. I think the one thing to note is that magic accuracy compared to magic defense is not as valuable, in the sense that magic defense is really, really strong. Even if you have great magic accuracy, if you're up against someone who's wearing D'hide, it's pretty darn hard to get those hits. But hey, okay, let's see what else we got coming in. Why does the melee armor have better defense than Bandos, but the range armor has worse defense than Armadillo? I believe the thinking there was because it was the range strength is something that isn't available elsewhere. However, that is something that we can look to address, because it's a kind of small, weird thing to have there. I sort of agree that we could change that up, but again, we can look at these specific things. I'll probably chat to John and Kieran about this tomorrow and see what they have to say. In fact, I'm going to get my pen. Where's my pen at? Jot all this stuff down. There we go. Into the notepad it goes. Okay, so Armadillo. Defense. Cool. Let's see what else we got. Oh, and one thing to consider as well is we're still taking feedback on the other stuff that's in the blog. So if you guys have feedback on that, please let us know. I think one of the things that we're potentially going to be doing is just getting rid of a couple of the prayers. the pres that people seem particularly interested in are Preserve, Augury, and Rigor. I think the other ones there aren't going to get much use, and there would be more value in keeping the pre-book small than offering those, given the amount of use that they'd actually get. You should consider some rewards that are degrading to nothing after a certain amount of use instead of repairing. That's not something we're opposed to at all. It's just a matter of where it comes from, like, and how strong it is, of course. Like with raids, I feel like there's going to be very few scenarios in which that kind of armor is useful, that degrades into nothing. Mostly PvP, I imagine. And I think that having something that has permanent value is more useful for PVMers out there who are doing the content for profit. I'm sure it would be still find its value, but I don't think it would have as much of a long-term draw to the content. Because realistically, if you're doing raids, you want to get a big loot. We're talking like 100 mil. Let's say you get an Elder plate body in it, and it's 100 mil loot. Nice. That's great. However, if you can't sell it, then that's not much use. And I can't see many scenarios where you'd want to use very expensive gear that gives best in slot stats, but turns into dust. When is the exact date the tournament worlds will open up for testing the Elder Maul/Wand? 18th of August, tomorrow. That's something that I want to reiterate as well, is tomorrow World 321 will become a beta world / tournament world. And you'll be able to get your hands on the prototypes of the Maul and the Wand. There's still no graphics made for them, so you're going to get a pink Obby Maul and a pink Master Wand, but all of the effects are there. So have fun with that. Let us know what you think, and we will see where everything stands with that. The Elder Twisted and Kodai improved Kodai is not currently going to be in there. However, we are potentially going to do that at some point down the line. We've still got quite a long time before raids are here, so we have time to make these changes, and we have a bit of freedom to run any betas that we can. One thing that I do want to address actually is there was someone who was requesting a beta for raids itself, and honestly I'm not sure how possible that might be. The betas that we've run, well, the last man standing betas, we ran it because it was very self-contained, and it was something that was pretty easy to do on the dev side. I'm not sure how simple it would be to set up raids in that way. And the same can be said for many other types of content, but yeah, we'll continue to do these betas for things that it is genuinely viable for, and it isn't going to push anything back, and we feel like it's not going to have a negative impact to not get that feedback. But I'm not sure if raids is going to be one of those things that we can run in a beta. Paul D. Claus. Fine. No, I'm kidding. So, I was actually considering this earlier today. People have been asking for a big reward, and Dragon Claws is always the first thing that jumps to mind when I think, what is something that people always request that we don't have in Old School? But the reality is with Dragon Claws that it's a perception issue. Even if the claws were perfectly balanced, it's something that we've stayed away from for so long for so many reasons that if we poll it, it's going to be very controversial. Whether or not that means it may still pass, but it could potentially do a lot of damage in terms of the way that people perceive Old School, and that's something we want to avoid if we can. With that said, somewhere down the line, it might happen in the distant future. In my personal opinion, they're not that OP. But my personal opinion doesn't do a whole lot for the opinion of many, many people within the community, unfortunately. But yeah, we're not going to be offering it with raids. Lol, it's just a weapon. Yeah, so is Karasi's sword. Definitely try your best to get a beta out for raids. One of the big reasons that I would immediately think that we're not going to do that is the fact that it would sort of act as a spoiler for the content. We don't want people to know exactly how to beat something as it comes out. Half the fun of raids is going to be learning the content for the first time with that somewhat of a risk factor there. Like, we don't want to sort of undercut the hype behind the update by doing a beta. I think that's a very serious consideration to make with raids for us. We don't want to just have it out there weeks in advance. We can do that with the rewards because we have to pull the rewards anyway, but the content itself, what makes it challenging, I think if we gave that to you guys early, it would potentially be quite damaging for the content. Make it tier 80. We see no reason to do that. We're pretty happy with going to tier 75 max at the minute. We want to pace ourselves as much as possible with all of the content that we add into Old School. Everyone is very concerned about power creep, and power creep is somewhat inevitable. It's not a matter of power creep is just an innately bad thing. It's just if we're not conscious of power creep, then it becomes a problem. Tier 99. You know what? Change everything in terms of these stats, right? All of this. Just imagine plus 500s and whack a 99 on it, and there you go. That's what you're getting now. Thank you, Twitch chat, for that. Let's see. Let's get back to this. In fact, I'm gonna switch it up. You guys can see the Elder Armor there. I'll make all these slides available for you guys following the stream if someone hasn't already done it. Iron Men. I believe we're aiming to give Iron Men some sort of access since it will work on your individual contribution. However, don't have a final say on that yet, so keep an ear out and we'll let you know as soon as we have a final answer. Will you consider the two-handed kite shield? Now, this is a concept which personally I love, but I don't think it works in Old School, and I want to hear a discussion on this because it's a cool concept. A two-handed shield which like drastically reduces the damage you receive and can deal like a small amount of damage itself. I want to know if you guys think any PVM content that currently exists in game, is it actually worth having a dedicated tank who deals substantially less damage in order to do that? I'm talking like you'd be sacrificing a majority, or pretty much all of your damage in order to do that. What is better in your opinion? Is it having that extra person for DPS or having the extra tank? In my experience, it's always been that having the extra DPS, just killing the boss faster has been more useful. I could be wrong in saying that. That's just from my personal take on it. I'm seeing lots of yeses and nos. Said so many things that I'm not actually sure what they pertain to. Okay, now people are saying DPS or tank. There's actually quite a mix there. Fair amount of tank. Okay, I'll run it past the guys tomorrow and see exactly what they think. That did come up right at the end of the day, so we didn't quite have a chance to discuss it. Let's see. Any more tweets we got coming through? What happens if you die during the raid? I'm not actually sure yet. I believe Ash is going to be back onto raids once the Player and House update comes out later on this month. And then I'm sure there will be plenty of information coming your way as soon as it is available. Will this be polled or no? Raids itself is not being polled. However, the rewards are. All of the rewards will be polled individually, so you'll get your Elder Armor, Twisted Armor, and Kodai robes separately in the poll. As well as, I'm going to get back to all this stuff, the other rewards that were mentioned in the previous devlogs. The questions have largely slowed down for now. So I'm going to call it quits here for the stream. I want to thank you guys for watching. Watch out for tomorrow's 8-hour-long art stream that Mods, West, and Ghost are going to be doing on this Twitch channel starting at midday BST. Do not miss it. It's going to be 8 flipping hours, and they're going to be designing content for raids live, I believe. So if you really want to see the start to finish process of how those guys work, which I would highly recommend you guys checking out, make sure to tune in then. We're also going to have at 5 PM BST the regular weekly Q&A. Tune in for that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.